Scott Hall began his wrestling career in the mid-1980s, working for various territories and honing his craft. He trained under legendary figures like Dusty Rhodes and made his mark in the AWA, where he was billed as Big Scott Hall, a powerhouse with an imposing frame and undeniable potential. In the AWA, he teamed with Curt Hennig, later known as Mr. Perfect, and the two captured the AWA Tag Team Championship. Despite his success, Hall struggled to break through to the next level. He had brief stints in WCW, where he wrestled under the name The Diamond Stud, a cocky, swaggering heel managed by Diamond Dallas Page. While the character showed glimpses of what was to come, it wasn't until 1992 that Scott Hall finally found his true identity in the World Wrestling Federation, WWF. When Hall arrived in the WWF, he was transformed into Razor Ramon, a Cuban-American gangster dripping with swagger and attitude. Inspired by Tony Montana from Scarface, Razor Ramon was arrogant, confident, and unapologetically cool. With his signature toothpick flick and gold chains, Hall fully embraced the role, and fans took notice. As Razor Ramon, Hall quickly became one of the WWF's biggest stars. He engaged in memorable feuds, but none were as legendary as his rivalry with Shawn Michaels over the Intercontinental Championship. Their battles culminated in the iconic ladder match at WrestleMania X in 1994, a match that revolutionized professional wrestling and set a new standard for high-risk, innovative performances. Razor walked away victorious, solidifying his legacy as one of the greatest Intercontinental Champions of all time. During his WWF run, Hall was also part of an influential backstage group known as The Clique, alongside Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Triple H, and ex-Pac Sean Waltman. The Clique wielded immense power behind the scenes, shaping storylines and helping each other climb the ranks of the industry. Their real-life friendship and influence were both admired and resented by others in the locker room. But just as he was reaching the peak of his career, Scott Hall made a decision that would change the course of wrestling history forever. In 1996, Scott Hall shocked the wrestling world by appearing on WCW Nitro, walking through the crowd and declaring war on the company. His arrival felt real, blurring the lines between storyline and reality. Fans believed Hall was invading WCW on behalf of WWF. Soon after, he was joined by Kevin Nash, and together, they became known as the Outsiders. But the real shock came at Bash at the Beach 1996, when Hulk Hogan betrayed WCW and aligned with Hall and Nash, forming the New World Order NWO. The NWO changed wrestling forever. It was the first time wrestling had truly embraced an edgy, reality-based storyline, and it worked. Fans couldn't tell what was scripted and what was real, making the NWO the hottest act in the business. With Hall, Nash, and Hogan leading the charge, WCW dominated WWF in the ratings for 83 consecutive weeks during the infamous Monday Night Wars. Hall continued to be a major player in WCW, winning multiple championships and remaining a key part of the company's biggest angles. However, behind the scenes, his demons were catching up with him. Despite his success, Hall's personal life began to unravel. His struggles with alcohol and substance abuse became increasingly public. His in-ring performances suffered, and erratic behavior led to multiple suspensions. WCW attempted to incorporate his real-life issues into storylines, portraying him as a drunken mess on television. The angle was widely criticized as exploitative, and it only worsened Hall's problems. When WCW was bought by WWF in 2001, Hall was given another chance. In 2002, Vince McMahon brought back the NWO, and Scott Hall returned to WWF alongside Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan. Fans were excited, but Hall's personal issues resurfaced almost immediately. At WrestleMania 18, Hall faced Stone Cold Steve Austin, but the match was overshadowed by his personal problems. His drinking became an issue backstage, and just a few months later, he was released from the company. Once again, his demons had cost him everything. After leaving WWF, Hall's life spiraled further out of control. His health deteriorated, he faced multiple arrests, and his battles with alcoholism and drug addiction made headlines. Many feared he wouldn't live much longer. But in 2013, an old friend came to his rescue, Diamond Dallas Page. DDP, who had already helped Jake the Snake Roberts turn his life around, invited Hall to live with him and try DDP Yoga, a fitness and wellness program designed to help wrestlers recover from years of wear and tear. The results were miraculous. Hall got sober, lost weight, and found a new lease on life. His redemption led to one of the greatest moments of his career. In 2014, Scott Hall was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as Razor Ramon. It was a long overdue recognition for a man who had influenced generations of wrestlers. His speech was unforgettable, closing with the now famous words, "Hard work pays off, dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do." But despite his redemption, Hall's years of substance abuse had taken a toll on his body. In March 2022, he suffered complications from hip surgery, which led to multiple heart attacks. On March 14, 2022, Scott Hall passed away at the age of 63. The wrestling world mourned the loss of a legend. Tributes poured in from fans and wrestlers alike, with many acknowledging Hall's influence and his incredible, yet tragic, life story. Despite his struggles, Scott Hall will always be remembered as one of the coolest, most charismatic, and influential wrestlers of all time. His legacy is immortal, and as he himself said, "Bad times don't last, but bad guys do."